Greetings.
Good afternoon, friends.
Oh,
Hello. There we go. Oh, let me turn this off. How's everybody?
Good to see you, Ed. How you doing?
Great, great.
Good to see everybody. Sorry I missed y'all the last time.
Yeah.
So, are you going to be teaching this term again, Miss Diane?
No, I retired in 2018. I did some adjunct work at Concord for 3 more semesters and then finished.
Oh, I didn't
So it's
know
been a
that.
while. Yes, uh-huh.
Did you wow, so yeah, you've been retired for a short bit now. Okay, good for you.
Thanks.
Did you miss it?
I do in a sense, and in some ways I don't. I just have to kind of let go and let God and move on, but I stay connected in ways that I can.
Did you guys see the document come up?
yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Which,
just briefly.
uh-huh. We don't see it now. We saw something come up briefly.
Yes, I cut it off. I just wanted to make sure it was working.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah. So everybody's taking the holiday this weekend.
Hi,
Almost everybody.
Deborah.
Hey,
Hi,
Deb.
Deborah.
Hello, Pa. Good to see you.
Hello,
Aloha.
Pa. Good to see you too.
Hi, Gail. Hi, John.
Hello, how are you?
Doing well, thank you.
We've got a nice weekend.
Oh, yes, it's lovely.
It's nice and quiet. I keep on thinking it's Sunday.
Oh, it does feel like that, doesn't it? Oh, my.
It does. Uh-huh.
Retirement can do that too.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Totally get out of sync because, depending on the week, when you don't have a lot going on, you lose track of days. I lose track of days. Maybe you don't.
Uh, well, I always have a lot going on. The weekends seem like they're busier than the weekdays, which is kind of crazy.
I know.
Mm.
Mhm. And as I sometimes like to joke and say, I'm wearing my little smock today so I can do my 2 week pillbox play, pretend play. Pillbox, pill up.
Uh,
Mm. Yes, indeed. Hope everybody's
oh,
families are doing well too, and all that.
Thank you. We have had a couple of people passing into the Abha kingdom in
Huh.
our families here. Just today,
Oh,
Byron's mother passed away this morning. She,
oh,
yeah, so I'm thinking they maybe will not be here. She
Yeah.
was 100 years old. God bless her.
Oh my
oh my
Wow.
gosh.
Was she
And
in Texas? Was she in Texas?
in Texas, yes, yes.
Oh
Oh,
my.
gosh. Wow. I didn't
She's
know
been
no she was
on
around.
I didn't
hospice for
either.
the last little while. And also, my brother-in-law, who lived in Washington State, passed away this morning also. Also
Oh,
hospice for a little bit. So
mm-hmm.
lot-
Golly.
lots of lots of happenings here.
Oh, yes, indeed. Lots
Mm-mm.
of transitions.
Mm.
Yeah, 100 is a remarkable achievement for Byron's mom. So, wow. The oldest person that I have kind of knew of was we were having a Baha'i get together, and one of the ladies was 81 years old, said, "Excuse me, I'm gonna go ahead and meet with my mom after this meeting." And I went, "What? 81 meeting her mom?" And her mom was
Uh,
100,
Oh gosh.
104. 104. That's the oldest I know of.
wow.
Oh
Wow.
my.
Wow.
Michael, I'm
Golly.
having a little trouble hearing you. Is there something that I should do to
Mm.
improve the audio? I don't know about all this technology stuff. I just noticed there's kind of a crackling noise on my machine.
Oh, we
And
don't hear
Michael's is
that.
cutting out a little bit on ours too.
Oh,
Oh,
I'm cutting out. Okay, I'll speak a little louder and a little closer.
Yeah,
Hope
you're breaking up.
it'll
You're
help.
breaking up a little and freezing some momentarily, a few seconds, but not a lot, but some.
huh.
Hmm.
Well, my ears are going too, so
I'm gonna go ahead and change to the to my phone and see if that pings a little bit better. Let me try
thank you.
this.
Okay.
I'm going to text a couple of the other people in our community and see if they.
There, I'm off of the Wi-Fi. I'm on the phone. Is that a little bit better? No, I don't hear anybody.
Huh.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes,
Yes,
Yes.
Is that better?
Yes,
seems like
yes.
it is.
Uh-huh.
Okay,
thank you.
okay. I hope that works. So, we lost somebody. John, Deborah.
No, John's there.
No, no. I'm trying to think of who we just lost.
Oh,
No, he still has
I
six
thought we
people.
still have 6 people.
Oh, Deborah, we lost Deborah.
I'm
Deborah's here.
here.
Okay, everybody's here. Great. Well, I propose that we go ahead and get started then. I have a prayer to read and we can go from there.
Thank you.
Okay.
O thou kind Lord, grant that these trees may become the adornment of the Abha paradise. Cause them to grow through thy celestial bounty. Make them fresh and verdant, and besprinkle them with heavenly dewdrops. Attire them with robes of radiant beauty, and crown their heads with gorgeous blossoms. Adorn them with goodly fruit, and waft over them thy sweet savors. Thou art the bestower, the all-loving, the most radiant, the most resplendent. Abdul Baha. Any other offers for prayers, or we're going to get started in 15 seconds if nobody starts?
I will, if you don't mind, if you
Yes,
give me just a minute here to pull it up.
thank you. I was thinking that that would be appropriate with the events that have happened.
Mhm.
Just I have to find it. This prayer was sent by
You know if Byron's mom was Baha'i?
what
Was Byron's
I
mom a Baha'i?
I don't think so. I don't think any of his family members, immediate family members, were. But this prayer that I'd like to share with you, if I can find it, maybe here, came from Naomi's husband,
Hmm.
Larry.
Mhm.
If any of you may have seen it. I'm sorry, I didn't have it pulled up to. He said this recently. Here it is, commemorating the passing of his aunt, who was a Baha'i.
Hmm. Hmm.
Okay.
And this prayer is from Abdu'l Baha. O Lord, grant me a measure of thy grace and loving kindness, thy care and protection, thy shelter and bounty, that the end of my days may be distinguished above their beginning, and the close of my life may open the portals to thy manifold blessings. May thy loving kindness and bounty descend upon me at every moment, and thy forgiveness and mercy be vouchsafed with every breath, until, beneath the sheltering shadow of thine upraised standard, I may at last repair to the kingdom of the all-praised. Thou art the bestower and the ever-loving, and thou art verily the Lord of grace and bounty.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
It is. Thank you for sharing that.
Of course.
So I have an intriguing article. I saw it in the um Baha'i News, and I thought I would develop it. So I put some thoughts and some quotes together and
Wonderful.
turned it into an elevated conversation. So go ahead and get started with this then. So the things that I was looking at is the ethical responsibilities of media in promoting unity and truth, the impact of media on cultural diversity and mutual understanding, and the role of media in combating prejudice and misinformation. And so this is a Baha'i perspective. I'm going to request the readers for these. If you have difficulty reading or you don't feel comfortable reading for whatever reason, please just let me know when I first say your name, and I won't ask again unless you speak up. Ed, could you read this first paragraph for us, the introduction?
Sure. Media's role in fostering social cohesion, a Baha'i perspective. Introduction. The Baha'i Faith is deeply concerned with the spiritual and practical advancement of society. Central to its teachings is the principle of the oneness of humanity, which calls for the elimination of all forms of prejudice and the building of a unified global community. In the modern era, media and communications have become powerful forces shaping public consciousness, relationships, and the prospects for social cohesion. This summary explores a Baha'i perspective on the role of media in fostering social cohesion, drawing on Baha'i writings, institutional statements, case studies, and scholarly analysis. It is amazing how Baha'u'llah wrote on these topics.
Thank you, Ed.
Sure.
So, Diane, can you read the first uh, yeah, can you read all of one? I'll have to let you go through to finish it up. I'll have to scroll to let you finish it, but could you read all of one?
Sure. Number one, the principle of oneness of humanity and its relevance to media. At the heart of the Baha'i Faith is the principle of the oneness of humanity. Baha'u'llah, the earth is but one country and mankind its citizens, emphasizing that all people are members of a single human family, transcending divisions of race, nationality, class, or creed. This principle is not a call for uniformity, but for unity and diversity, recognizing and celebrating the richness that different cultures and perspectives bring to the human family. Can you imagine a media that is different from our current media and focuses on borderless ideologies and without a strong inherent national bias? The Baha'i writings assert that humanity has reached a stage in its collective evolution where the recognition of this oneness is both necessary and inevitable. The goal is to foster a collective consciousness and to sense a global citizenship where service to humankind becomes the purpose of both individual and social life. Media, as a primary means of communication in the modern world, is seen as a vital tool for advancing this vision. It can either reinforce divisions and prejudices or serve as a bridge, fostering understanding and unity among diverse peoples.
And yeah, just listening to the media and kind of like appreciating Baha'u'llah's statement about the earth is but one country, and then you contrast that how a lot of media is talking, even on a day-to-day basis. It's quite jarring, the difference in that. Does any,
Right. I was just going to say, and the last thing that came to my mind as I read that last statement is the fact like so many different kinds of tools and things that we use in society, one of which is media, it's value neutral in and of itself. It's not the tool itself, it's how we use it that makes a difference. It can either divide us or it can unite us.
yeah, that's absolutely right. And that spawns I developed that theme a little bit as we go on, but you're absolutely right. And the power of media is that it's unit one direction and it goes out to many, many different people. So the power of media is a very powerful way of communicating. So it should not be neglected. Diane, can you read number 2 for me?
You want me to read number 2 as well?
Oh no, you did the intro. I didn't mark it. I'm sorry, I didn't mark it. So you're getting marked now.
Okay.
John,
I don't want to hog the show.
That's a good mark.
I just didn't put the
I,
mark by your name. I'm putting a mark by John now. John, can you read the next paragraph for me?
Sure. The media as a mirror of the world. Baha'u'llah was the first religious figure to directly address the role and responsibilities of the news media. He described newspapers, and by extension, all forms of media, as the mirror of the world, reflecting the deeds and pursuits of diverse peoples. This metaphor highlights the media's dual power to reflect reality and to shape public understanding. The pages of swiftly appearing newspapers are indeed the mirror of the world. They reflect the deeds and pursuits of diverse peoples and kindreds. They both reflect them and make them known. They are a mirror endowed with hearing, sight, and speech. This is an amazing and potent phenomenon, Baha'u'llah. However, Baha'u'llah also warned that this mirror must be polished by truthfulness, justice, and equity. The ethical responsibilities of media practitioners are paramount. It behooveth the writers thereof to be purged from the promptings of evil passions and desires, and to be attired with the raiment of justice and equity. They should inquire into situations as much as possible and ascertain the facts, then set them down in writing.
So the writers are that they shouldn't be, going in the direction of evil passions and desires, and yet the kind of the thought is that that's kind of what sells papers. So we kind of have to be, but balance those two. So when I read this, I went, oh, but isn't that what sells? So we need to, as readers, we also need to recognize when we see this and say, oh, maybe we shouldn't go down that road, we shouldn't feed the beast.
Yeah. One thing that comes to my mind as we look at this and thinking of where Baha'u'llah was physically in the world, and Gail and I pick up a lot of British shows and periodically watch the BBC. And the aspect between the BBC and the US media, the BBC is much closer to other countries physically than the media in the United States is. The US media's perspective is a single country perspective. The BBC, because of their size and proximity to Europe, automatically they have a different perspective on other countries than we do.
Well, they're on the outside looking in. So they tend to be more neutral than some of the American media. It is difficult to find neutral media. It's difficult to find fair reporting and know that you can depend on it. And I'm looking at this last line about they should inquire into situations as much as possible and ascertain the facts. That is not something you can do in an instant, and instantaneous reporting is what everybody expects these days.
Right.
So another source that John and I have watched at times, and I amazingly feel that they are probably as neutral as anything, is Al Jazeera.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of giving a kind of an equal, this is what has happened. And they don't tend to try to pronounce one party's action as good and the other party's action as bad. They just say, this is what has happened. And so, as a viewer, of course, we have to maintain that, maybe not skepticism, but we have to maintain that reservation that not everything we hear from any source is necessarily going to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So it's a challenge.
It really is. It really is. Ed and Diane, do you have something?
Yes, I was just going to say we also watch BBC on occasion as well and notice the differences in terms of the perspective and points of view and the neutrality and how much more embracing it is of other types of news. And I have the Al Jazeera app on my phone, but I haven't watched it for a while. But even within our own country, in terms of media, if you were to go back and forth and watch Fox News, CNN, MSNBC, NBC, those sorts of things, you can see a continuum of biases or perspectives along those different things. And I thought about one of my one-liners for life, which is something that one of my father's coworkers, they were both teachers, same high school. He was trying to correct some students' behaviors one time in the class, and he said, "Water seeks its own level, and somebody in here is running in the gutter." I have never forgotten that one-liner.
What was that?
Water seeks its own level, and somebody in here is running in the gutter. Just in terms of confirmation bias, being able to see things factually rather than in terms of, okay, I agree with that. That's right. I don't know. Sometimes we surf just to see what those perspectives and presentations look like. Okay, so I'm gonna lower my hand now. Were you gonna say something, Ed? Oh, okay.
So, Gail, would you like to read the next section, number 3, for us?
Sure. Ethical responsibilities, truth-seeking, consultation, and justice. Truth-seeking. Truthfulness is described in the Baha'i writings as the foundation of all human virtues. This principle is especially relevant for media professionals who are entrusted with informing the public. The Baha'i teachings warn against sensationalism, distortion, or the spread of unverified information, emphasizing the need for accuracy, fairness, and impartiality.
Can you read the next section, Gail? Consultation.
Consultation. Consultation is a central principle in the Baha'i Faith, regarded as a spiritual and practical method for the collective for collective decision-making and truth-seeking in the context of media and public discourse, consultation, the exchange of personal opinions, a process aimed at uncovering reality and fostering unity, characterized by open-mindedness, unity and diversity, detachment from personal biases, commitment to justice and equity.
I really like this because obviously when we talk, we're exchanging our personal opinions. But within the context of media, we're also encouraged to go a step further. And so it's not a problem of the exchange of your personal opinions, but consultation involves uncovering the reality and fostering unity, open-mindedness. One of the principles that I love of consultation is that you're trying to get diverse opinions. So when you express your opinion, you're getting other people's opinions to come in there, and then all together those opinions can create a diverse assessment that results from the consultation. So unity and diversity. Another principle is the detachment from personal biases. One of my friends said this, when you're in and you give your personal opinion, and then after you let it go, you've said your piece and it's out into the atmosphere for the consultative group to make their decisions, and that's the detachment there. And then a commitment to justice and equity. So I love the idea of consultation. And it's really it was neat to see it um, mentioned as a possible thing in discussing truth, in the media. Okay. And then Gail, can you finish us off with the justice and equity?
Certainly. Justice and equity. The Baha'i teachings articulate a high standard of ethics for those involved in the media and communications. Media should strive for objectivity, fairness, and the promotion of unity rather than sowing division or amplifying conflict. Reporting should respect the dignity of all individuals and communities, avoiding dehumanization or stereotyping.
So I remember reading this in one of Baha'u'llah's writings, and I couldn't find it for the life of me how he was really emphasizing the high standard of ethics in journalism, and I couldn't find the quote. But yeah, he made it very, very clear, and that stuck with me. And last time I read it was way back when I was a young Baha'i. So yeah, it's been a while. I couldn't recall it. Any thoughts on justice and equity in the media?
That part about respecting the dignity of all individuals and communities and avoiding dehumanization or stereotyping, I mean, all of these things seem to me like quite a challenge for the media and those that are working within it. But this in particular, because I mean, as people have said, there's a tendency in the media to sensationalize things, and that does just the opposite of this. It doesn't respect the dignity of either individuals or communities, and it does tend to dehumanize and stereotype um, individuals and communities. So it's a tall order. I don't know how. Of course, I haven't been uh, in that learning mode. I don't know what reporters are taught in this day and age, and I don't know what the expectations are in their profession, but it certainly seems like uh, hmm, the environment in which they're sharing information does seem to promote the opposite of these standards.
And when you said that, actually, Deborah, what came to mind is often deriding of actually celebrities, and it's like celebrities are just, people who go in front of a big screen, maybe an act,
Sure.
or who might have something famous that they were involved in. And yet
Uh-huh.
we should even respect the dignity of those people. We often like
Right.
cartoon characters almost, and it's like,
Right.
no, no, they still are an individual. They need to be dignified for it.
Mhm.
Now, that
Mhm.
having been said, we also need to make sure that we don't stereotype them and kind of put them into a category, but we recognize them as a full human being.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
Diane, somebody had their hand raised.
Yes, I was just going to say another thing that comes to my mind is when we talk about ethics, every profession has its code of ethics. And one of the things that a professional has to be mindful of and careful about is that if something that's is done that's unethical, someone or community, someone could be harmed. We
Mhm.
don't want to harm anybody. And it's easy when you're thinking about a large mass of a population to objectify or dehumanize or stereotype and those sorts of things. So, and the other thing is that as professionals, I'm thinking about, okay, journalists and media professionals too, have to be aware of their own biases. We all have biases, and some of them are so subconscious. Once you're aware of those biases, whether you're doing research, doing your job, whatever, you have to be able to bracket those biases so that you can impartially do your work in a professional way. It's not an easy thing, but you have to be mindful. Mindfulness is important.
Hmm.
Anything you want to say, Ed?
No.
Okay, I'm finished, and I will mute myself in just a minute.
No, and I think the point is that we do come to it with those biases, but becoming mindful of it and saying, whoa, and taking a step back and thinking about the implications of that bias is important. So,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
uh, perhaps uh, just using a non-human example, let's suppose that um, I'm going to the subway and there's a flight of stairs. And when I was a kid, I tripped over and I hurt myself badly. Whenever I go around a subway flight of stairs, I might be really careful around the flight of stairs because I have that bias that, oh my God, those concrete stairs are miserable and they're tough. And so, yeah, we have to be careful of the bias and make sure that we're like, okay, I'm not, I recognize the danger of it, but not all subway stairs are dangerous. And I think we can then take that and use it also in dealing with people and communities, like you're saying, Diane.
It's kind of interesting in our culture that we seem to, uh, um, I don't know if you'd call it scapegoating or not, but we caricaturize uh, famous people, like you were talking about, Michael, and our politicians, our presidents, our senators, our whoever. It seems like we kind of feel like they're fair game. It doesn't matter because they're in the public eye, so therefore we don't have to be respectful of their dignity, um, or avoid stereotyping them or dehumanizing them. So that's something to be conscious of too. And I think that's why our writings say to speak no word of politics.
It's yeah, the politics is a messy business because we have said that you cannot cloak the politics in secrecy because the people should know. And so, but revealing all of the kind of the sausage making, as it's commonly called in politics, we have to be careful that we don't stereotype that. Yeah, that's a really good point, especially for politicians, Deborah. Absolutely. Okay, Deborah, it's your turn. Can you read this section for us? Section number 4.
Okay. Media's role in fostering social cohesion and mutual understanding, promoting unity in diversity. Baha'i institutions consistently advocate for a media environment that follows that principle: racial unity, celebration of cultural diversity, fosters mutual understanding, and upholds ethical standards of truthfulness and equity. The media can be a powerful force for social progress, capable of giving voice to oppressed minorities, promoting reconciliation, and fostering unity among different groups.
And so, when I was writing this, I tried to be kind of positive in that you can report the news in a positive manner, in a helpful manner. And so it doesn't mean that you're kind of like Pollyannish in terms of, oh my God, everything is good and I'm looking through rainbow glasses. It can be, hey, listen, there's a problem here, but it does mean that you're looking at it from a viewpoint of what can we do to help, what can we do to understand, what can we do to improve it, you know? That's what I was
Yes.
trying to do when I wrote this section up. Because yeah, it's like one of those things. You recognize the differences and you bring it to light, you know, but you don't try to be too over the top in your kind of optimism. You're a little realistic too. Deborah, can you finish this one?
Okay.
Thank you.
Combating prejudice and misinformation. The Baha'i perspective recognizes that misinformation and prejudice in media can fuel social divisions and injustice. The faith calls for proactive efforts to counteract these forces, encouraging individuals and institutions to challenge misinformation and to promote accurate, respectful representations of all groups. Education, including media literacy and critical thinking, is seen as a key tool in combating prejudice and misinformation.
And so one of the important aspects of education is to obviously get it to the females, especially considering in the past females sometimes weren't as educated as some of the sons would have been, but also to promote critical thinking in addition to reading, which I think is really really critical.
Yeah.
We have a teacher in our midst who often encouraged her students to critically think. And Diane, do you have anything to add to that? You are muted, so I can't hear you.
Okay.
There.
Um, I was wanting to seek some clarification between the terms misinformation and disinformation. Is misinformation information that's inaccurate, whereas disinformation is um, lying or giving information that's not accurate on purpose?
Right.
Sounds reasonable.
That
I just
that
want
would
to
be
know.
my interpretation.
Uh-huh.
Okay, because I've seen both terms out there, and I guess I can always look it up. But in this space, I want to converse about it and find out what your respects and understandings were about those two terms.
Uh-huh. Thank you.
Mm.
I have a comment.
Yeah, I don't
Just
think I yes, thank you for clarifying that. I'm going to make a note to myself and go through and see if I did that because I don't know if I made that distinction throughout this presentation. So that's a good point. Yeah, yeah, good.
I think it was gonna.
Yeah, I've got something to say. It's all well and good to have ask reporters or commentators to be honest, but they work for an organization, and
Mm,
that organization may not permit
oh,
their
Yeah.
honest views. They have their own agenda.
Yeah.
So that puts these reporters in a real pickle.
mm-hmm.
And one of the
Exactly.
leading contributors to that pickle is because if you have a company, like let's say the example that I say all the time, United UK KDMC is the medical center here in Ashland, Kentucky, and
Uh,
they're a major sponsor and advertiser in the local newspaper. Why is the local newspaper going to print out something against the medical center if they know they're going to possibly lose that sponsorship?
Yeah.
That
Ah,
See,
there you
and so
go.
that's the pickle
yeah.
is I have
Yeah.
somebody who is sponsoring it. Oh, I don't want to criticize them. So that may be
Hmm.
reasons why we see all these pharmaceutical ads, these ads for
Yes.
drugs on TVs now. All of a sudden they're
Mhm.
like Well, we're promoting a new show. They're our primary sponsor. Oh, we're not going to say anything bad to them. So it puts the reporter in a pickle who might come across a story of misinformation or just disinformation, wrong information at all. So
Right.
yeah, that's a good point, Ed.
Mhm. The two things I so often see advertised, even on my little teeny tiny TV in the kitchen, or just all these stations, pharmaceuticals and beauty products.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
Uh,
I've always wondered about that.
yeah.
And the pharmaceutical commercials are anywhere from 50 to 80% bad stuff that can happen if you take this drug, which
Right.
is so bizarre.
Yeah. It is, isn't
Mhm.
it? Oh, yeah.
Ed, could you read us this fostering dialogue and consultation?
Sure.
Thank you.
Fostering dialogue and consultation. Baha'i institutions stress the importance of dialogue and consultation in media practices. The U.S. Baha'i Office of Public Affairs, for example, has highlighted the need for inclusive, respectful, and principled dialogue in public discourse, facilitated by the media. This approach values the diversity of perspectives and seeks unity in diversity through collective inquiry and consultation. This is different. Hmm.
And can you read the role of education, Ed?
Sure. The role of education and media literacy. Education is a central pillar of the Baha'i approach to social progress. The Baha'i writings affirm the importance of education as a foundation for both personal and societal advancement. In the context of media, education is seen as essential for fostering understanding, promoting unity, and elevating discourse. Baha'i inspired educational programs often include components on media literacy, encouraging participants to analyze media messages critically and to seek out diverse perspectives. The arts and media are viewed as vehicles for education that can help people learn more about their higher nature, spiritual solutions to world problems, and ways of service.
So we covered this of the role of education, which is important. And I also like the fact that arts is being presented as a way for media. And the Baha'i Studio, which is a channel which is available on YouTube. So the YouTube Baha'i channel called Baha'i Studios has all these different artists singing and performing music. I even saw a poem being chanted. So there's all sorts of studio work being done out there, and that was interesting. I think that's also a form of media using the arts.
Yeah.
Okay, here's some case studies. Diane, can you read this?
Sure. 6. Case studies. Baha'i-inspired media initiatives. National and international conferences. Italy. In May 2023, the Baha'is of Italy organized a gathering of approximately 60 journalists to discuss the media's role in fostering social cohesion. This event provided a platform for media professionals to reflect on their responsibilities in shaping public discourse and promoting unity. World Economic Forum. The Australian Baha'i community has participated in international forums contributing to the Social Cohesion Conference and the launch of the Creating an Inclusive Narrative publication, which aimed to foster inclusive narratives in public and in media and public discourse.
I really thought the Italian one was very interesting.
Yeah.
Could you read this paragraph too, Diane?
Sure.
Thank you.
Baha'i International Community, BIC, and Global Advocacy. The BIC registered as an NGO with the United Nations in 1948, regularly engages in advocacy and public discourse on issues related to social cohesion, human rights, and the role of media. Through statements, publications, and participation in international bodies, the BIC promotes the use of media as a tool for building bridges between communities and advancing the oneness of humanity.
Yeah, this is really powerful. A couple of things that the United Nations, well, first of all, the relationship between the Baha'i community and the United Nations has occurred since 1948, which is very powerful for me. But two of the most successful initiatives with the United Nations are the refugee program and getting people who are in minorities and political situations and getting them to countries where they're treated as citizens. And the second successful thing that the United Nations has done is get nations out of poverty. So one of the greatest ways to get a nation out of poverty is to give them energy, specifically electricity or gasoline and motors to run on the gasoline. And that is really a powerful way so that they can do farming and other things to get themselves out of poverty. And those are two of the more successful programs that the United Nations has done. And it'd be nice to hear more about it, in our mainstream media, but it's don't hear much about them.
And something else I thought about when you mentioned that, Michael, is you've all heard this quote: if you give someone a fish, you feed them for a day. If you teach them how to fish, you feed them for a lifetime.
Yeah, that's true.
Self-sufficiency.
And there's also a sense of if I give you a fish, then I'm kind of like I don't know how to say it. You're kind of downgrading them. It's like, well, you can't fish for yourself. I'll just give you a fish. Fine, whatever. But if you say, hey, listen, come here, brother. I wanted you to know the secret. We got a fish to get fish. Let me show you how to fish. It's more unifying. It's less, you know what I'm saying? You're building that person up, just like you're saying. And you said it very nicely.
What would you say about all the food pantries? We have a lot of food pantries here. And I don't know if anybody, well, you can only grow so much in your garden. What about the other things? I guess you don't have money for necessaries. Or maybe they just have the money, but they're not spending it the right way. I don't know. How would you deal with that?
Well, well, it's a deep question, and I think that the food and the sheltering situation kind of go hand in hand.
They do.
People need to not be homeless. If they want to get out of that situation, they need to be given the resources to do that. And I think there's a sense of to really thrive as a human being, you do need to have your basics kind of taken care of. But then once you get that basics, then you got to say, okay, now to thrive, to be a contributing member of society, you need to get educated, you need to be financial literate, you need to be able to hold a job and hold responsibilities, and then work with those people to do it. But it's tough to get somebody onto that ladder of awareness and thrivingness if they don't have food. So it's a balancing act, Ed. You've got to give them the food so they can start thriving, but you don't want them to be dependent upon you for the food, you know?
Mhm.
It's not an easy answer.
Yeah.
And the other thing too is that sometimes people fall into hard places and situations where they need help temporarily to get to that next step. And so one of the things about food pantries is that when a person is in that situation, the resources are there, but they don't need to know where it came from, and you don't need to know who's getting it because privacy and dignity are important.
Yes.
You don't have to give it right to them, but they can go there if they need it, but you can leave it off if you want to.
Yeah, I love that. Anonymity leads to dignity for sure. Gail had her hand up. Gail, do you have a comment?
Well, a lot of the people who use the food pantry are living paycheck to paycheck. And if you're driving a car that's barely holding together and it dies, and you can either buy groceries or get your car fixed, knowing that there's a food pantry to get you the groceries so you can get the car fixed so you can keep your job, so you can keep earning money. There are a lot of folks in that position. there are so many jobs that don't really pay a living wage.
Mhm.
And those are the people mostly, I would, not everybody, but mostly using the food pantries, because things happen where you may never think you will ever need to go to the food pantry, and then some cataclysmic event in your life
Yeah.
leaves you with no funds and you need food. The other thing is most food pantries do keep a list of how frequently you go. And you can only go to a specific food pantry like once every so many months, or, they space it out specifically to discourage people becoming dependent on the food pantry.
Yeah, those are really beautiful points, Gail. Absolutely. John, could you read us a positive example of media?
Let's look at the positive.
Yeah. Grassroots and community-based initiatives. Organic Oneness, a Baha'i-inspired initiative that uses media and storytelling to recognize and celebrate the contributions of all people, thereby fostering a sense of unity and shared purpose. It gives the website. Organic Oneness is a grassroots social justice organization that brings people together to eliminate racism and create healthy communities in Chicago.
And this is their website,
Cool.
and it's really cool,
Yeah.
they talk about the environment, racial justice, health and wellness. So, yeah, if you get a chance to look at that on your own, I recommend and encourage it. That's a great website. I mentioned
Thank you.
already the YouTube, the Baha'i Studio. I came across several. I also came across the Tahirih Justice based in Houston, Texas.
Foundation, yeah.
Yeah, the foundation. I didn't mention that one. Also, just thinking about it. But yeah, there's a lot out there. Gail, could you read another one, this example here?
Sure. Grassroots and community-based initiatives. The Pupil of the Eye, founded by Barbara Tolley. This initiative uses media workshops, and public events to address issues of race, identity, and social cohesion, highlighting the Baha'i principle of the oneness of humanity. And that's thepupiloftheeye.com. Hello, I'm Barbara Tolley. The Bible says, where there is no vision, the people perish. My vision to create these spaces was inspired in I can't even read today. My vision to create these spaces was inspired in 2019 from reading Sadie Oglesby's Pilgrim Notes. It was then that I realized how God had blessed Black people, even though we had been the recipients of so much oppression for centuries. We didn't know that we have a special station, because if we did, we would arise and take our rightful place as spiritual leaders among men.
And this special station is not unique, but it's a station that they can be recognized for their differences and for their different perspectives in things, I mean, everybody has their own special station, but the Blacks have that special station just as much. And so there's no, uh, we're above just, I don't know how to say it, but I love the way that she says it. And here is their website here. There's the vision. And she talks about it, and she talks about it there. This site is to be a safe, nurturing, safe spot for all people of African descent, described as pupil of the eye. So it's just a neat website.
I have it saved in my phone.
I hadn't heard of Sadie Oglesby's Pilgrim Notes. Is that something that available through the publishing trust?
Distribution service. I have to
Distribution
look and I'll
service?
have to look and see.
Yeah, I didn't find that in my research, Ed. It might be, I don't know.
Hmm.
And then also we have community-based media and educational programs such as, local elevated conversations. And I was impressed. I went online and there are elevated conversations, Baha'i get-togethers all across the country. We're not the only one. Study group, Ruhi
Good.
study workshop, and junior youth educational books and programs.
Mhm.
Mhm.
There's also scholarly analysis and publications that have examined the Baha'i approach to media and communications. Discussion is ongoing about the historical context of Baha'i teachings and engagement with mass media and the faith's vision for media as a tool for promoting unity and social cohesion. Great. Is Gail next, or did you read Gail?
I just read.
Okay. I didn't mark. I wasn't sure. Deborah, can you read number 8 for us?
Okay. Challenges and opportunities. The Baha'i writings acknowledge the challenges posed by the proliferation of misinformation, sensationalism, and the fragmentation of media audiences. These trends can undermine social cohesion and trust. However, the Baha'i vision is optimistic, emphasizing the potential of media to serve as a virtual table where society can gather to discuss issues of mutual interest and seek truth together. The faith calls for a transformation in both the content and the spirit of media, aligning it with the highest ideals of human unity and collective progress.
So I'm an older person, unfortunately. And when I went to school, there was a sense of a higher expectation for media than I think than we can see today. And
Mhm.
the high faith reminds us of that higher goal, if you will. Any other thoughts on the
Yeah.
challenges and opportunities?
Well, that professional ethics that Diane mentioned earlier is
Yes.
important.
Gail, do you have anything?
Yeah, I'm going to call you out on saying that you're an older person than
Yeah.
We heard you chuckling, Gail.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
Mm.
oh, great. Ed, can you close us out with the conclusion?
Surely.
Thank you.
Conclusion. The Baha'i Faith offers a comprehensive and optimistic vision for the role of media in fostering social cohesion. Its teachings call for truthfulness, justice, and the promotion of unity, recognizing the media's power to either foster social cohesion or sow division. Baha'i institutions and individuals are encouraged to use media as a means of building understanding, combating prejudice, and advancing the oneness of humanity. Key principles include the oneness of humanity as a foundation for all social progress, the media as a mirror of the world with profound ethical responsibilities, the centrality of truth seeking, consultation, and justice in media practice, the importance of education and media literacy in fostering understanding, the need for media to promote unity and diversity, combat prejudice, and facilitate inclusive dialogue.
Sorry.
Through these Through these principles and practical initiatives, the Baha'i community seeks to contribute to a media environment that supports social cohesion, mutual understanding, and the realization of a peaceful, united world.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So, it's really interesting because I have seen a couple of um, positive news outlets, typically a person talking
Uh-huh.
about positive news. And so
Uh-huh.
I think that's really really intriguing.
Yeah.
Great.
Is
Any
it
other thoughts?
fantasy?
Oh, Gail, do you have a thought?
Yeah, I have a lot of thoughts. Don't want to hear them all. I did want to mention that I have found through a couple friends of mine that I met through Copper to Gold, two media sites. Basically, they put the news articles into my email,
Uh-huh.
kind of like a daily feed, and one of them is 1440. Let's see, it's called 1440 Daily Digest, and the other one is called Tangle.
Huh.
And what they do is they present specifically some of the more controversial issues
Mhm.
from both sides. Everything is annotated. So everything that happened that they put in their newsletter, there's a reference. You can go to the original article if you want to make sure that they're not misquoting. And so they lay it out and let the reader decide where the truth lies.
Huh.
Okay. The 1440 doesn't give its own opinion. In Tangle, the editor usually says you don't have to agree or disagree, but I'm just going to give you my take. and,
Okay, you go.
usually it's not all like it's not really siding with one side or the other. It's just saying, I think this is important, but I honestly don't think this is what we need to worry about right now. I think these other issues are maybe more critical or more impactful, or, it's that kind of thing. But they're both very good. And the other plug I always like to make, if you don't know anything about Copper to Gold,
Yeah.
is there anybody who doesn't know anything about Copper to Gold?
I went through the initial training of that.
Okay.
Yes, indeed.
And Deb, have you heard of Copper to Gold? Have you ever
Yeah,
been through it?
yeah, yes, I have. I've been through
Help
it.
me promote it, please, please. We just need more and more facilitators.
Yeah.
Because it is growing.
Yes, yes, I understand that. It's great.
So within your Baha'i communities, within your contacts, anybody that you can think of that might be interested in participating, either as a white person to learn. Well, actually, our Black participants also learn, but it's tougher. I would say in some ways it's tougher because our Black participants are given the opportunity to give feedback about how racism has impacted their lives.
Yeah.
But it's at the same time, it's so much more impactful on the other participants to hear the story from someone they have grown to love.
Yeah.
So I just have to always mention it.
Thank you.
It's powerful
Thank you, Gail.
and it's very powerful. And one of the things I've always very much believed in is perspective taking.
Mhm.
It helps us to view each other's perspective.
Yeah.
We're told in the faith to see through our own eyes and not the eyes of others. Doesn't mean that you can't listen with empathy and understand the person's lived experience,
Right.
or seek to understand, I should say.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I know I've gotten a lot from it, but I'm not where I want to be.
Yeah.
So I'm becoming more involved in the program, besides which we need facilitators.
That's beautiful, Gail. And I think we have a two-pronged approach. We have people that we reach out to. We can try to remember that when we reach 1-to-1 or maybe 1-to-10, we have a responsibility, just like a media does. And the second thing, like Gail mentioned with the 1440, I think you said it was we can scout those information services that are meeting these desires, that they're trying their best to be a mirror of the facts and of knowledge, and, and they're giving these things. And I think it's also important to read up and appreciate Baha'i perspective, and 2 websites were provided. We found out some other websites, and so I think kind of those are actionable items that we can do to kind of like appreciate media and what it can do in promoting a cohesive world,
Yeah.
Cool. Any
Thank
final
you.
thoughts? Nope. Hey, thank you. I'm going to post this on YouTube in a couple of days, and you'll be getting the PDF of this information too. So I appreciate your
And
thanks,
Thank you,
everybody.
Michael.
Thank you.
thank you, Michael.
Thank you.
And
Thank you,
thank
Michael.
you. Very interesting presentation. Appreciate it.
Thank
Always,
you.
always.
Thank you.
Aloha, everybody.
Aloha.
Aloha.
See you soon.
Okay. Got to send it my